And we're live. No, it's good. We had intro music. That's excellent. So welcome to session 10 of the Wandering Players. We actually hit double digits. We might actually hit double digit viewers this session. We'll see, but at least we're double digits in episodes. So we are going to be down 2 players today. Keith and Mikey will not be joining us. They had other obligations. With that said, when players don't join, their characters are left to my devices, so we'll see what horrible things I can do to them while they're gone. But before we get started, let's do a quick round of introductions. I'm going to start in the order on my screen. So Schilling, let's start with you.
Hello, I am Mark Schilling, and I play Bog, the lizard folk cleric.
Molly?
Hi, I'm Molly. I play the Hinku Druid Fletch.
Mark?
So happy. So happy. I'm another Mark. I play Duros, the ranger, who has a slight distaste for giants.
Jay?
My name is Jason. I play Deimos. I am a wood elf bounty hunter monk. All about the money.
And Leslie.
I'm Leslie. My character is Juniper.
Wood elf.
He's a tabaxi rogue.
And it looks like Molly was watching the stream, so that's good.
Just double checking, making sure for everybody.
You guys hear us evenly?
Yeah, we're good for now. And I'm Ray Emerly. I'm your dungeon master. So before we get started, I usually have I think I chose the wrong scene collection in OBS, so I'll wing this. So I do want to give a shout out real quick to Sirenscape for the sound and music effects that we'll have during the session today. We also use Owlbear Rodeo for our virtual tabletop, which you'll get to see momentarily. And of course, D&D Beyond for all the fun character sheets, encounters, and other things. At some point in time, somebody might actually pay me to say that, but at least for right now, I feel like the stream is not going to get pulled for any copyrights. So with that said, let's jump in. It's been a few weeks since we left our sessions. The Wandering Players had continued their trek into the treacherous Sword Mountains, moving ever closer to Icespire Hold and this mysterious dragon, which you still haven't gotten to yet. I promise it will happen at some point, but we're not quite there. The second stage. I can't talk today. That's not good. The second day's journey was as perilous as the first, as you navigated across a narrow icy bridge, faced a duo of Yetis, really one Yeti and the other one ran away, and a Boulette, and avoided areas prone to avalanche. Throughout the day, the snow continued to fall, and by evening it picked up into a blizzard. The snow, wind, encroaching darkness made further progress nigh impossible, and you also then started to hear howls from around you, getting closer and closer. Moving with urgency, you managed to make out something in the darkness and snow, a large structure. You pushed yourselves through the blizzard till you came upon its gates, above which was written a single word, partially covered in ice and snow: Havenfall. Raising the portcullis and moving forward, the thick oaken doors of this keep opened with a loud creak, which reverberated off the stone walls. You made your way inside, and pushing the thick oak double doors closed behind you, blocked out the sound of the storm and the howls of whatever creatures were upon you. While the wind and snow are no longer a factor, the cold still chills you to the bone, and you find yourselves inside this manor. There's no natural light, but this particular darkness feels heavy, almost tangible. And even those with dark vision find themselves struggling to see to their normal degree and range. So with that, I'm still going to say this with a lowercase n, new wandering order. How would you like to proceed?
I light my flame.
Okay. So your flame appears in the palm. You do see, as the radiance of the light extends a bit, it does push back the darkness. You're able to kind of make out that you're in an entrance chamber of what appears to possibly be a great hall. So give me a moment and we'll get an actual map. I do have maps for this. And I actually used Dungeon Draft to make this map, so I'm all excited about new toys. So
Oh, fancy.
give this a second. Hopefully it'll actually come up.
Yeah. There's no filter for that.
Okay, what? What's his name? Castro.
Okay, it's just
Oh,
taking
you
a
gotta
second to
go.
load, apparently.
You want a bird face? I can make a bird face.
This is taking forever to load. I apologize.
Oh, it is dark.
So dark.
It's so dark. So dark.
A dark pit of darkness.
I'm just making sure that it's actually sharing. Good Lord. Okay, so while that's at some point in time, we will actually have a map at some point. So as you look, all you see is essentially within this. It's a very large chamber. It's stone and carpet. There's debris on the floors. You can make out a bit if you look up in the ceiling. You can actually see that there's been some sort of crack or destruction in the ceiling. There's snow coming in and a little bit of what appears to be moonlight at the very top. To your left and right, the walls continue. There's appears to be a door to your immediate left, probably about 10 feet away. There's another door to your right, about 5 feet away. And who has actually, Bog, you have a fairly high perception, correct? Passive perception. I think you're at like 20 now.
Yeah, it's ridiculously high.
So Bog, you notice at your feet what appears to be amongst this debris a torn page.
All right. Bog will pick up the torn page and take a peek at it.
Okay. And let's see if this will actually load, because I would like at least one thing to load today after I give Albert all this credit. Why is this not loading? Sorry, we're having technical challenges. Let me just try to reconnect the Albert. Give me 2 seconds.
You gotta get like a please stand by photo.
Yeah, I actually have one, but I was kind of hoping not to have to do that here. Sorry, folks at home. This is the challenges that we have. So let me just make sure.
We have Mark doing all of your music for the stream today.
I think the music's the only thing that's worked today. So far.
Yeah, seriously, thanks. I appreciate that.
That's not true. The audio works. I checked it.
It's true.
Well, while I'm doing this, feel free to talk amongst yourselves in character.
Okay,
So-
well, we don't know what the page says yet. You're still like blowing it off.
We'll get to that in a second. Yeah, it's pretty dusty. It's pretty dusty.
So while we're waiting for the page, Bog is gonna excuse me. It's been a week or two. Bog is gonna say, hey, Juniper, question for you. I know you're like the strong silent type, but that thing you did where like you made that like Etten like fall over and piss his pants. Do you think you could maybe do that to say like a dragon? See, Vibrant, I know you really want to talk to this thing, but if in your conversation it kind of feels that thing called I don't like you very much to us, when we fought Varagahantana, he was primarily in the air. That means very few of us are now able to hit him. Juniper can be our secret weapon. She can get that thing's ass on the ground, and then we can wail away at it. Also, I almost lost my ranger buddy Duros in that ambush. Maybe I should move to the back for a little bit. This way, my naturally high perception for out of game folks, my lizard folk, senses might be able to prevent us from getting sneaking up on no outside interference, if you will. And there is a letter.
I appreciate your cautiousness, but I don't think I took any damage during that ambush.
But it's still
True.
scary.
Did you get like grabbed or something, or no? You just like saw it coming.
No, I think I dodged. I dodged out of the way.
Okay.
It was the last time it was me. I had ensnared him.
Fletch had a situation.
So is this in common or a language Bog understands?
This is in common.
All right, Bog will read the letter.
Let's hear it.
Do you need light?
Oh, good sir. Oh, thanks, Fletchy. I probably should also light my sword. Boom. I wish Spoonie were here. Guitar 16 or 1B. I don't know if this soft skin knows how to write. The days grow long, yeah, and the nights grow colder. Being away from my family is growing increasingly difficult, like a deep void for which there is no cure other than being at their side. Now more than ever do I miss the warm embrace of my beloved, hey Duros, what's that word? How do you pronounce that?
Serena.
Thank you. Her love, her smile, they are things for which not even the sun can compare. I look forward to seeing my sons again, as I am sure they have now grown, and my daughter, undoubtedly as beautiful and wise as her mother. I know that my duty to the order is one I must obey, but the days of being eager for a fight are long behind me. Keep the fires warm for me. I will be home. I wonder if this guy made it.
Actually, somebody's keeping that her fires warm for her.
And for those of you, so you should all be familiar, being residents of Faerun, with the calendar. But Uktar is the 11th month of the year, so it's equivalent to the November of our calendar. It's 12 months in the calendar. Each month is 30 days.
Journal entry.
And
Well, something.
Go, Owlbear. Go.
Yep. So hold on. So we have now, given where you are and what you can see. So this is the room as you can see it, based on the limited range of visibility. So there are barely visible. There's a doorway to your left. Zoom in a bit. There is a doorway to your left, located right here. There's a doorway to your right. I'm assuming that you're all facing forward, so apologies if you're not. And then you can see the debris on the floor here. The crack in the ceiling kind of mirrors the crack that's in the floor that you see. And there's also 3 sets of armor that are set up against the one doorway. And something just happened to Owlbear. It came back. Zoom feature, apparently.
Can Bog run and pick up on the bottom what is clearly the dragon killing Vorpal longsword just like sitting there?
Roll an investigation check if you want to check out the equipment.
Oh shit. All right. Me and my big mouth. That's out of a box. Seriously? Okay, that is a 12 plus -1. That'd be an 11.
Apparently, Albert doesn't like it when I zoom on this thing. So you look amongst the debris at the weapon. A sword catches your eye, but upon inspection, it's just a normal blade. A bit rusted, and also very, very cold to the touch, just given how cold it is inside this manor.
Can I investigate as well?
Yeah.
I'll keep it anyway.
I want to investigate the armor, see if there are any valuables.
Okay, so let's see. Let me get some people on the map here. So which way are you going, Fletch, to investigate? Are you going towards Bog? Are you going towards the armors? Where are you going?
I'm gonna go towards like the debris and around the hole that's in the floor.
Okay, so we'll
Just in that general.
let me see here. We also have our beloved monk who's going towards the armors. My DM bot keeps refreshing for some reason. I don't know why that is. Ian is in here as well. Strong silent type. Duros. Juniper. And actually, this is technically Vibrant. Knowing Vibrant, he's probably already halfway through the map, so we'll just move him up there. Fletch, give me an investigation check as you're looking around, and then we'll get to you, Deimos, in a moment.
I got 16.
A 16. You don't find anything necessarily of value, but as you look up, you can see that the ceilings, and this refresh on this map is killing me. So the ceilings are actually broken and torn. It almost looks like it's been crushed through by something rather large. And you notice that the crevice in the floor that matches it, the damage in the floor, almost looks like it's an angle, like something powerful came through the ceiling and had crashed into the floor at some point in time. The snow and the ice have kind of covered it around. You can tell it's been some time since this has happened. You can't quite tell how long, but this isn't recent damage. This is old damage. So Deimos, as you move closer to the armors, I'm having all sorts of technical difficulties this time around. Apparently, this is just the way today's going to be going.
No worries.
So as you move towards the armor, as you get within, you're going up to investigate, look for any valuables on the armor or anything like that, correct? Is there one in particular you're going towards, or you?
The one in the middle.
One in the middle? Okay. So as you get within 5 feet of the armor, as soon as you come close, the armor suddenly, the arms extend and reach towards you. And I need you to roll initiative. I need everyone to roll initiative.
This is metal armor.
This is metal armor, yes.
14.
Finally.
Okay, give me a second to load the encounter. Maybe this will actually work today. This has been fun. The perils of online D&D, folks. Okay, so let's go in order here. Duros, what do you have?
6.
Deimos?
14.
Juniper?
10.
Let me roll for Ian real quick. So 15. Fletch?
22.
Ooh,
Look at you. Roll for Vibrant.
and hot.
Get Mikey's dex modifier here. Wow, Mikey has a pretty good dex modifier. Jeez. That's 19. Bog, what'd you have?
15.
15. Okay. So Fletch, you're actually up first. So you're quite a ways away from this. So I don't know. And the armor reaches out. Deimos, do you do anything? Do you scream? Do you yell? You don't seem like a screamer to me, but I'm just wondering if like anything has called attention to what's happening on this side of the house yet.
I just kind of throw up my arms to protect myself.
Okay.
And then that's about it.
Okay.
I know you just hear a lot.
So Fletch, given where you are, and you're about, I'm going to try to zoom this in again. It keeps refreshing on again. Stuck in a refresh mode. So given where you are, you're about 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. You're about 40, 45 feet away from this. Between the sound of the storm outside, kind of howling inside the tunnels, and just being focused on kind of your investigation, you don't hear any of this activity going just yet. Vibrant is going to be in a similar situation. He's actually second on the list. He's, again, focused on what's going on over here. Not a lot of sound happening. So with that, the armor actually now will go. And so, Deimos, the armor reaches out to grab you. And it actually, as it comes forward, it makes a fist and starts to swing the fist at your head. It's going to be... That's going to be a 12 on the first strike. That's a miss.
So that it's just burned off.
Okay. So the first strike passes by. You're able. You have your hands up in defensive position. You kind of knock it away, and then the other one kind of swings from the left hand as it does a second attack. That's another 12. So that also misses. So in your defensive position, you're able to basically bat away both of the blows from this armor. But now it's starting to move forward and comes off of its pedestal with a loud clank to the floor. At this point, the clank has alerted everybody else that something is happening. As you turn, you now see this armor approaching Deimos and attempting to attack him.
Like the Power Rangers movie.
I don't know if I saw that one, actually.
Yeah,
Bog,
the original.
Bog, it's your go.
Bog will hear this, put down the letter that he was studying, turn around, be like, Deimos, hang on. And he's going to move. Should I even try to move my guy or just let you do it with all the technological problems you've been having?
You can go ahead and try to move it, and we'll see what happens here. I'm actually going to try to reload the page real quick, so give me a second. I'm actually going to try to do this via bookmark, and maybe it'll stop trying to. Okay. You can give it a try. We'll see what happens here, but I'm not confident that we're going to...
So I click the hand first, right?
Yeah, click the hand, grab your token, slide your token. Worst case, we'll just do Theater of the Mind if this doesn't play out.
You gave him that sweet shout out and everything.
I know. You see, this is the problem. Usually they've been flawless. This just doesn't seem to be working.
I'm viewing DM's assistant. Hold on. Maybe I'm on the wrong screen. Hang on a second.
It's okay.
Let's see what you have. I mean, I should go to Owlbear Rodeo. There we go. Okay, so he's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
And it's going to
6.
refresh.
6 times 5 is 30. And then 1, 2, 3. Okay, plenty of range. Good. So, Bog is going to use a new cantrip.
Okay.
And basically, I need the suit of armor, if it can, to make a Constitution saving throw.
Okay. It can do that. What is there a particular condition you're putting on it, or?
It's called Word of Radiance. If as many creatures as I see within 60 feet, I can target. And if they fail the con save, they take 1d6 radiant damage. If not, if they pass, nothing happens. No
Okay.
damage.
Okay, so it rolled a 18 total.
Okay, so nothing happened. It just flamed out around them.
Okay. Any other actions you want to take? Any movement? Anything you want to do?
3D sparklers.
I don't think there's anything I can do. I already went my full movement, and no, if I can't cast a bonus action spell because it's not a cantrip. No, I'm done. That's all I can do.
Okay, so Ian, hearing this, is going to move 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. Can't quite get there, but he's going to go ahead and cast his Divine Smite on his hammer.
His finishing move.
Well, he'll have that ready for the next go. So, I'm gonna laugh if I play Ian better than he does, but we'll see what happens.
Just gonna say, yeah.
Deimos, it's finally your turn. You're right in front of the armor. Now you can counterattack.
I'm gonna do a two-handed swing with my quarterstaff.
Okay.
And 19.
19 hits.
And with that swing, I'm gonna call it a stupid hunk of metal. As I do, oops, sorry, wrong thing. That's the wrong one. Two-handed damage. Still the same thing. All right, I deal 4 points of damage.
4 points of damage. Okay.
Then, as a bonus action, I'm going to make an unarmed strike.
Okay, go for it.
So I'm going to try to front kick this thing into the wall. That's a 16.
16 does not hit. So you swing your quarterstaff and a loud clang as it hits the metal and kind of reverberates through the shell of the armor. But as you come back with the kick, you don't make good contact. It's a thud. Just doesn't hit, doesn't do any damage. Okay. Anything else from you?
I'm going to sidestep it.
Okay. So you're staying in range. You're just kind of moving to the side, better angle kind of thing. Okay. So next up is Juniper.
Okay. Where am I located?
Yeah, you're kind of in the red carpet area here. This map is killing me. I'm gonna probably have to kill the share here in a second. But you're on the red carpet area, like right here. If you want to move over 5, 10, 15, 20, you could definitely get there with your movement because you also have cunning action, which doubles your movement. But I think your default movement's 40.
Yeah.
I'd say you could get within melee range, or you could use something from range.
That's what I want to do. I want to get close enough for melee.
Okay.
I'll use my cunning action to get right there.
Okay.
Then I'll use my.
Okay. So you're attacking with the rapier. Okay.
Yes.
Hey Jay, can you move the mic just a little bit closer to Leslie? She fades as she turns.
I got a natural 20, so plus 4 is 24.
Okay, so natural 20, that's a critical hit. So roll damage. So the dice roll we're going to double. Remember, then we'll have the modifier.
12.
Okay, so
Nice.
so that's 24 plus what's the modifier on your damage? Plus 2, plus 4,
Plus 2.
plus 2. So 26 points of damage with your rapier. So as you come in, you quickly approach, having seen Deimos engaged, and just slash through. And as you slash, you kind of catch between the plates, between like where the top of the armor, the torso meets. I guess the codpiece. That'll be the second time I've used codpiece today in a conversation. And slash through, and you hear the cutting of metal as you pass. It's like slices through this armor, and the armor is still standing, but it kind of stumbles just a little bit, almost as if it's starting to lose its footing. Do you want to get your sneak attack damage since your Deimos is already engaged with this?
Yes, so I was gonna ask a question. It was like, can I do the sneak attack and then disengage?
So yes, because you only use your regular movement, and the disengage would be your cunning action, which is bonus action. So yes. So if you want to go ahead and roll the 2d6 for your sneak attack damage, we'll add that to the impressive total that you already had, and we'll see where this armor ends up.
9.
9. So yeah, so with an additional 9 points of damage from your sneak attack, the armor crumbles just into just a pile of pieces from your attack, and it's no longer moving. Go ahead, Bach.
Future reference. I think her sneak attack damage doubles as well on a crit.
Does it? Okay.
Mikey's not here. I don't know.
Yeah, I usually do the critical hit and then the sneak attack is separate because it's a separate roll.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah, because the weapon,
Right.
when you think about the weapon damage is double, but the modifier isn't. So that's how I typically play that out.
Got it.
So the armor is down, but as the armor clangs to the floor, you see the two other suits of armor on the left and the right. Both of the heads turn towards you, and the armor start to move off the pedestals. Anything else you want to do? You're no longer engaged, by the way, with this suit of armor, so you don't have to use your. But you could dash away if you wanted to, or okay.
That's exactly what I want to do. I want to dash away. Towards, I guess, back towards where I was in the red carpet. Is that possible? Or is there a specific distance that I'm able to travel away?
Yeah. So dash is going to be basically it would double your movement. So if you used your full movement to get there, if you wanted to dash to go back, you could get back to the red carpet. I'd say.
All right. That's exactly what I want to do.
Okay, so Duros, we're up to you. So you've seen the first suit collapse. You now see the other two suits turn, and they're starting to move forward off of their pedestals. Can I hear? Go ahead. Sorry, it was delayed. Go ahead.
Okay. And they're like looking to dance, basically.
You can't really tell their intentions, but yeah, they're moving.
I'll go for the one at the top with my bow.
Okay.
Let's see. 16?
16 does not hit. You added all your modifiers, right? That's the right math. It's not just a straight roll, right?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. So you let loose the arrow, and the arrow clangs. Just it chips off the shoulder piece of the pauldron and just bounces off the ball in the back.
Dong!
In the darkness and even with your goggles, it was a little hard to gauge the range. So, anything else you'd like to do?
I guess reload my arrow.
Okay. So we're coming back to the top of the rounds, and Fletch, you are now aware that all this is happening. So, what would you like to do?
I would like to move towards the one that's closer to the top. The one
that Duros attempted to attack.
Yeah, and I'm gonna throw my flame at it.
I'll throw your flame.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Do you know what the range was on that, on the throw?
It's just within 30 feet.
Okay. Because I'm assuming you don't want to be in melee range. You just want to get close enough to throw the fire.
Yeah, just close enough to throw something at it.
Okay. Go ahead and roll an attack roll for that.
I got a 13. Oh, no, wait. Nope, yep, that's me. 13.
13. So you get close and you throw your fire, but the fire just kind of dissipates harmlessly off the armor.
Well, that sucks. So I think I'll just like queue up another one, but that's pretty much all I can do.
Okay. Moving back to the
Oh, wait, yeah. Well, Snapper's not close enough to do anything, so.
Yeah. Okay, so Vibrant's turn. Let's see how I can completely misplay Mikey. Hopefully Mikey's watching while I do this. So what would Vibrant do?
Ice ball.
He would probably use a chromatic orb at this point.
Orb. Make all his fireballs miss.
He also has Firebolt, Ice Bolts. How many spell slots did he have left? Actually, it looks like we have full spell slots. So he's going to use an Ice Bolt because he doesn't want to use his spell slots.
His damn tail away from any valuables.
A 10 on the die plus 6, 16. So that does not hit. So you see Vibrant step forward and he throws forward a bolt of ice and it just hits the wall behind and you see the frost kind of forming as he misses the armor. Sorry, Mikey.
Not a fatality.
Not a fatality. So now it's the armor's turn. So the first armor at the top of the screen, and usually never have this money. It's not actually going to move. So it's going to move towards Deimos because it's the closest target that it has. So the armor comes towards Deimos. Deimos engages with you and attempts to swing. And that is that's a 14. Nope, that's a miss. So he swings the first time. You kind of just matrix move it, passes right by. And the second one, he hits with a dirty 20, so 16 plus 4.
Ah, that's it.
And he hits you for 4 points of bludgeoning damage. So the first swing, you kind of duck past, but then he comes quickly across with the other gauntlet and just catches you right in the face. It's almost more of a hard slap than it is a real shot, but you do take some damage. The other armor at the bottom is going to move forward, and he's actually going to move towards Ian and attempt to attack him. Too much stuff that I'm trying to organize today. Where's Ian? There he is. Okay. And the first one's a natural 1, so it clangs over towards Ian and tries to throw a punch. And as it does, Ian raises its shield and actually manages to knock off his gauntlet. So one of the gauntlets of this armor have fallen away. The second blow does not hit either. So he comes back around with the second blow, and Ian's able to kind of parry with his hammer. So no damage from either of those attacks. And Bog, we're back to you.
All right. Oops, that's not the right one. So Bog is going to 1, 2, 3. Perfect. I can get up to him with all my movement. And I'm going to first swing at him with my usual, with my scimitar.
Top or bottom? I'm sorry, which one were you going for? I see
The one I moved my guy next to.
Got it. Okay.
Yes. That's cocked. That's a 15.
15 does not hit. So you swing with the scimitar, and it just glancing blow kind of just right off the armor. Doesn't appear to do any real damage. Just leaves a scratch.
Now, as a bonus action, can I, since I have my that other rusty ass sword that I was checking out in my other hand, can I attack him with the offhand?
You can. So you can do that as a bonus action. You'll just roll for. Let's use the same roll for the scimitar as the sword. You just don't get to add any modifier to it, right? So if
right,
yeah, but you can do that.
Okay, without a modifier, got it. Figured that was going to happen. Nope, 13 misses as well.
Yeah, so you just ching ching, and just it's like just glancing scratches on the armor itself, but no real contact from the.
It's true. We are all tired and cold.
Yeah, that's actually a very good point, and probably getting close to exhaustion at this point. It's getting late in the day. So, anything else you want to do, Bog?
No, that's all I can do.
It happens to all of us. Performance. So Ian is going to attack the one that came out towards him because he's within melee range, and he has his hammer loaded with his divine smite. So one-handed warhammer. Come on, Ian. Ian rolls a 19, which hits.
Is the armor technically between me and Ian now?
So the one at the top is the one that was actually coming down to approach you. The one at the bottom went straight to Ian. So there's two armors engaged at this point. So the one that's at Ian is in melee range. You're not between the two. It's the northern one that's in between.
if I'm using our owl bear, if I'm looking at it, so Ian is like right below me, like
yeah, you can't really because it's been reloading so much. We're not all the characters are moved in the right places, so we're just kind of have to do a theater of movement. I'm sorry, it's just I can't keep the thing loaded. So Ian rolled a 1 on his damage. Okay, this is more like Ian. +5, so that's 6. But he also has his divine smite.
Still a hit.
Yeah.
More than I could do.
Yeah.
And then divine smite.
Fire doesn't do it.
Well, no, it would have.
It just didn't hit.
Okay, hit with a melee weapon attack, spend while spell slot 2d8 extra radiant damage. So that's an additional 13 points of damage, and he uses his spell slot. Okay, so yeah, so Ian swings with his charged hammer. And there's a loud clang as it crashes into the chest, and you see it dent the armor chest, and this burst of just radiant energy for a moment illuminates the room from the blow, and the armor staggers back a bit. It's still engaged with Ian, but it definitely took some damage. And with that, Deimos, we're up to you. Let me see if I can try to move some stuff around on Owlbear just to make this a little more accurate. I'm going to throw in...
Okay.
So, hold on. I don't think it may not hold up, but we're going to try. So I'm just going to move these little skull guys are going to be the armor. So one is here. And then the other one is kind of come off its pedestal, but it's like right there. Let's move him here. Bog's about right there. And Deimos, since you were the one engaging with it, are about right there. So this is kind of our current layout, roughly.
Okay. So I'm going to try and I'm going to try and grapple with it.
Okay.
So that would be what, a strength check?
So it's an athletics check for you, and either athletics or acrobatics for him to contest. He's going to go athletics.
So it's an athletics check for me or acrobatics for me, you said?
No. So for you as the grappler, it's always going to be an athletics check. As the grapplee, I could choose between athletics or acrobatics because it's more of almost the am I going to try to shoot to avoid it or am I just going to try to get out of the way kind of thing. Okay. So that's I got a 19.
And I got a 6, so that doesn't work.
Yeah, so you attempt to go into to wrestle this armor down, and the armor is able to kind of shrug you off and kind of just toss you aside a bit. You're not able to get your shot in.
All right. I'll try to push kick it again.
Okay.
Or this one with unarmed strike.
Yep.
And that's a 15, and I'm assuming that doesn't hit.
It does not hit. So yeah, so you go in for your shot. It kind of shrugs you away. You come back with the push kick to try to force it back a bit, and it just steps back just enough that your kick just kind of lands with no real impact. Juniper, we're back to you.
I want to attempt to hit with my short bow.
Okay, go for it.
I don't know if what I'm seeing on owlbears is
it's roughly accurate. Yeah, it's close to what we have right now. So.
All right, awesome. So I'll try to hit the one closest to me.
Okay, so that's the one that's engaged with Deimos and Ian right now.
Okay. 30-20.
Okay, that definitely hits. And so go ahead and roll your damage. And you can also do sneak attack on this too. So let's resolve the short bow damage first. So the 1d6 plus 2.
Sounds like a plan. That was a 7.
7. Okay, so 7 damage there. And then go ahead and roll your 2d6 for your sneak attack.
That was 4.
Another 4. Okay. So yeah, so you let your arrow fly and it catches the armor like right between the visor area of the armor itself and kind of chunks back in. You hear it clang as the arrow pierces out behind the back of the skull, and the armor kind of staggers a bit, but it's still standing. Anything else you'd like to do?
I think that's it for right now.
Okay, Duros.
Oh boy. The one up top still untouched, right?
Other than a few scratches, he hasn't suffered anything.
Okay, I'm gonna go for that one again.
Okay, go for it.
Wow, not my day. That's
That's
a 10.
Your fingers are it's still really cold, almost like frostbitten from the outside. You just can't quite get the feel. So you let it fly and the arrow just goes a little wide. Contact.
I'm gonna take a swig of that mushroom wine I got in my bag.
Warm
up my fingers.
There you go. Yeah. Fletch, we're back to you.
I would like to use my spell Heat Metal.
Okay.
At the one that Duros just went towards because I'm closest to that one.
Yep.
So I can choose any object, manufactured metal object within that I can see. And it takes 2d8 fire damage.
Okay.
And let's see. Yeah, and if anything is wearing it or holding it, it takes damage and must succeed in a Constitution saving throw and drop the object. But I don't think anything's in it. So,
so this will just be the straight. This will just be the 2d8 damage. Yeah.
Oh yeah, total of 5. Look out.
Okay, but still, so you cast, and the range on this is 60 feet, so you didn't have to get close. So you cast your spell, and for those of you who are around the armor, you start to see the armor itself kind of start to glow with this little bit of radiance and almost like an orangey reddish color to it, and heat starts to emanate from the armor. You said that was 6?
Was it 6? I think it was 5.
5. Okay.
Yeah.
You don't add anything to it?
No, I don't add anything to it.
And how long does that last? That's one action concentration up to a minute.
Okay. So until the spell ends, you can use a bonus action in each of your subsequent turns to do the damage again.
Cool.
For up to a minute.
Okay. Cool. So that is currently aglow with your heated metal here. Anything else from you?
I don't think so. I'm gonna keep Snapper with me.
Okay. So we're gonna go back to Vibrance, and Vibrance, seeing that the heat seems to be working a little bit, is going to try his Firebolt. Let's see. So that's a 12. So yeah, so now he basically cast his Ice Bolt the first time. This time he lets loose with a Firebolt, and it just goes a little wide and into the wall behind it. And there's a brief flash. Sorry, Mikey. I'm horrible at playing Vibrant. It's my fault. It's not you. It's me. It's not you. I swear. And then it's the armor's turn. So the armor that's engaged at the top, Bog, it's going to swing at you. That's cocked. That is a 17.
Hits.
That's 1d6 plus 2 for 8 points of bludgeoning damage. So it comes forward and just kind of shoulder slams into you pretty hard for 8 points, and then comes around with its other gauntlet. Also cocked. 13.
Misses.
Yeah, so the other one, you're able to get your shield up and deflect the blow, but you did take the initial slam. The second...
Okay.
Go ahead.
I'm going to use Wrath of the Storm. He needs to beat a DC 13 dex save.
Okay.
Amazing spells.
And he rolled a 19 on the die and no modifier, so he rolled a 19.
All right, so he will take half damage.
Damage.
And it's not a spell, believe it or not. It's just a feature.
Okay.
Ooh, that's an 8 out of 8. And
Nice.
3, that's 8, 9, 10, 11. So 11 halved of lightning damage.
Nice. So that's a consequence of him striking you, correct? So it's a reaction.
Correct. Actually, you know what? Wait a minute. Check that. He's made of metal.
Yes.
Thunder damage instead.
Okay. Okay, so he slams into you and you take the damage, but as soon as he does, there's this wave of just force and a loud crack of thunder as the armor reverberates from the force of your spell, and it just takes a step back for a second, unsure of what just happened after striking you. The second suit of armor at the bottom is going to attack Ian with his one remaining hand. That's a 13, which does not hit. So Ian's able to bat that away. No damage taken. So Bog, we're actually up to your turn now, then.
So Bog says to the headless armor, armor general, "You like that, huh? Well, there's more where that came from." 18 to hit.
18 hits, just hits.
Thank you, Jesus. Alrighty, so that means he's gonna take. This is the scimitar, so we'll take 1 6 plus 2. 6 points of slashing damage.
Okay. Yeah, so you're swinging back with the scimitar, and this time it's a really good strike. In fact, you actually cave in part of the plate with the blow. As it again, it's still staggered from that thunder strike earlier. Anything else from you?
How banged up does Deimos look?
Deimos? Not at all. I mean, he's yeah.
Come on. Yeah.
You've got you're barely scratched, right, Deimos? How hurt are you?
I started at 41 and now I'm at 28.
Okay, so he's a little more scratched.
Okay.
He
I
hides.
thought so.
He hides his pain well, apparently. So.
No worries. I just got to go to spells real quick. I should know how to do this. To do a casting. Nope, wrong one. It's healing words. So what do you put this there? Right. So Bog will look over to Deimos and say, "Don't worry, Deimos. Hot tag on the way." And he gets 5 points of healing back from healing word.
Okay, so 5 points to Deimos. Anything else from you, Bog, or you're good?
I am good.
Okay, so Ian's going to be up next. And Ian is going to just swing with his hammer. Nothing fancy. That is an 18, which hits.
Thank you, Bob.
No worries, brother. Yeah.
And so Ian hits for 13 points of damage. So the armor that was engaged with Ian and Deimos, Ian just swings the hammer. You see the helm of the armor fly off of its shoulders, and the rest of the armor shake for a moment and then just collapse into a heap of pieces. Deimos, your turn. You're muted. But the
Yeah.
the one you were engaged with has now been destroyed. The only one left is the one that's engaged with Bog.
All right. So I'm gonna run towards the one that's at Bog and try to do a drop kick.
Okay.
So that'd be an acrobatics check, or
yeah. If you want to do an actual drop kick, let's do an acrobatics check first, and then we'll treat it as an unarmed strike if this is successful.
14.
Yeah. So you go ahead and do the unarmed strike damage for that.
Seven.
Okay. So you run up and nice leap, boom, right in with the drop kick. The armor itself saggers back just a bit, just a little bit of a footing from the force of the actual blow. It's still standing, but it's definitely looking shaky.
So now shaky again, and then I'm gonna do a step inside kick towards it.
Okay.
I'm gonna lunge towards it, hop through the air, and kick the damn thing.
Okay. Make your unarmed strike.
21.
That hits. Your damage.
5.
With 5 damage, tell me how you drop this last remaining armor.
So I skip around like Muhammad Ali, and then I flick my nose and I step in really, really hard in cinematic slow motion. I bring my knee up above my belly button and I stick my foot so far into the armor's chest that I cave the metal around my foot, and it falls with a clatter.
Okay. Yeah, and the armor pieces, as you do this, the armor pieces just kind of they don't just collapse straight down, but they just spray out backwards from the force of the kick and clang to the floor. And with that, all 3 armors have been dispatched.
Grab metal.
Very Mortal Kombat.
Flawless victory.
Finish him.
I'm just gonna cheers to everybody and say good job, guys.
I had made treats, so if anybody wants 2 temporary hit points, I think it's 4. I know Deimos probably needs some. If you eat one of the treats that I made, you get 2 temporary hit points, so that might be helpful. I don't know if anybody else needs some help.
Should we, at this point, consider at least a short rest, maybe, before we blow through your rations?
I have 2 treats, so yeah, I made 2 of those. If we take a short rest, I can cook for 6 if we need it, and everybody gets 1 d8 hit points, whoever eats it, if they need it.
And also, while you guys, so when you were exploring too, while you're sorting this out, I just give you better visibility of the room now because you've been around a little bit. One thing to note is up in this northern corner, you see 3 more suits of these armor. You have not approached them, but you do see
Don't
them
go near.
in the distance.
Don't touch.
And then based on 10, 20, 30, 40, you know what, for the sake of this, we'll just do this. You also, at the far end of the room, you see another 3 of these as well.
Oh, God.
But this is the entirety of the room from where you've been able to move around and see. There are doorways leaving off of this chamber, but now you have the entirety.
I mean, how are we all looking?
I think we need a rest and a fire.
Rest in a fire?
Yep.
I still have my little flame. We could start something. Are those planks of wood? Can we pile them?
Absolutely, yeah. Because you notice that most of the planks, this was a great hall at one point. So all the planks that you see on the ground, they're actually large dining tables with benches. Think very much a Game of Thrones kind of thing. Just with behind the main table was 3 of these suits of armor behind it at the north wall. But you're able to gather up many of the pieces of wood. Much of it is still, the parts that aren't covered in snow are dried, so you can create a fire somewhere.
Okay. I'll light a fire somewhere.
Bottom early. And your swords.
I will, as she lights her fire, I will set up the easy bake oven for her cooking. I think throughout this whole battle, Juniper was just like, please hold my drink of choice.
Yeah, thank the Lord for Jupiter and Juniper, like, and Amos too.
Once the quiet ones.
Once he said that she hit him in the comp piece, I was hoping like, oh, please let her do like a Zorro type jet, like with the crit like right there. But I didn't want to interject. I was like, that would have been perfect. Like,
Uh-oh.
So you guys are setting up for a short rest with the fire, correct? What I'm thinking, tell me if this is okay with you guys. I think what I'd like to do is, if possible, maybe take like an 8-minute break to 2:45, try to reboot some of my stuff to see if I can sort the technical issues, and then we just come back and play straight through till the 4:30 mark. Is that okay with you guys?
yeah.
Okay.
Good.
It seems like a good
Totally.
break point. So I'm going to put the stream on pause. We'll come back around 2:45. Give me some time to reboot some stuff. For those of you watching, if the stream does stop momentarily, it's just because I'm reloading stuff. It'll come right back, and we'll resume at 2:45. Thank you very much. There we go. Okay, now we're back. Audio input was a problem on that one. So technical issues with the map is going to continue, so I apologize for anybody watching this. It's just going to keep refreshing. I think it has to do with the size of the map. We're just going to deal with it. I'm not going to be able to zoom in. But with that said, so you guys have faced these armors. You see some other armors in the room. It sounds like you're avoiding those for the moment. And you've taken the time to create a fire, warm up a little bit, maybe thaw out those bowstring fingers, and take a short rest. So now what would you like to do?
So we can't see anything down that doorway?
So the passageway directly south from the red carpet's where you came in. What you can see here, you can see that there is a doorway.
Oh, I meant the one you said was to the left.
Oh, yeah. So the doorway's closed. So you can't see. I mean, you could open it if you wanted to look inside, but the doorway currently is closed.
I'm gonna go check it out.
Okay.
Got investigation or perception?
Are you like listening at the door, to quote Munchkin, before you go in, or are you?
I mean, I guess, yeah.
Okay. Roll a perception check.
14.
14. So you put your ear to the door. It's silent, like just eerily silent, quiet. You don't hear anything other than the sounds behind you of your party members kind of shuffling about as they finish their rest. You touch the door handle just a bit just to see. It appears like it's unlocked. It doesn't appear to be locked. If you wanted to try to enter in, you could attempt to do so.
Before we move forward, move forward, did Fletch, did you cook? And if you did, or which some of us would have gotten hit points back, or we could have used hit dice, or just on D&D Beyond, make sure you hit short rest because some of your abilities come back. Certain classes get spell slots back because we did take a short rest, right?
Yes.
Okay.
I did cook. So, oops, that's the wrong one. I did my special food. So if anybody wants to eat it, everybody who eats it gets 1 or more hit dice to regain points, 1d8. Anybody needs it?
I need that. Most needs that. Nice, 6. That's good. That's almost full. Excellent. And short rest.
No, if Deimos, if you would like some food, Fletch brings over a little plate.
So I say we go through the door. Thoughts?
Sounds like a plan.
Unless you want to go towards the other suits of armor.
Well, and there's also so this is the door to the left that you're checking out now. You did notice that there's a couple more doorways to the right. It's along the same wall. It's just across from the red carpet along that southern wall as well. Just full disclosure.
So it's probably the closet.
Well, you got to open the door to find out, right?
I'm going to check it out. Let's open the door.
Okay, so you open the door. It is not locked, and as the heavy oak door kind of swings inwards, there's a creak on the hinges. These hinges have not been opened for some period of time, and what you see appears to be a guest room with a large king-size bed. There's beautiful paintings that line the wall, but they've been ripped and torn. So you can see that there's paintings of flowers and greenery, but they've been either grabbed and torn or slashed and torn, and the art has been destroyed. The bed is interesting because the linens are still neatly tucked and relatively undisturbed, other than what appears to be a layer of of dust setting almost over everything.
Can I see anything else? Can I?
Go ahead and roll a investigation check. And at this point, Vibrant is also moving into the room as well, taking a look around.
15.
15, and Vibrant rolled a. Give me 1 second. I thought Vibrant would be smarter. So he has a 16. He's got no benefit to that. So a 15, 16. So you look around and you notice again the linen's undisturbed. You also see what appears to be just not quite noticeable, but as you're like leaning down, looking under the bed and such, you see almost like an indentation, almost like an indentation of a human size on one part of the bed. Christmas smarts. I see you, Mikey. I see you out there. The Vibrant, though, as he's going, he notices you see him pick up from what it looks like a bit of a nightstand. Underneath a layer of dust, he picks up a tome. It's some sort of old book, and he's kind of admiring it. You see Taylor kind of peeking over his shoulder at whatever he has in his hands.
And that's it.
Yeah, that's all you notice at this point. So who else is coming into the room? So right now we have Duros and Vibrant are both in the room. You do notice, by the way, that there is a doorway leading out of this room to the west. So on the western wall, there's another door that leads elsewhere.
I'll come in.
I think me and Snapper are hanging out by the fire.
Okay. And Deimos and Juniper, are you guys by the fire? Are you coming in the doorway? Where are you guys?
Yeah, I'm gonna hang out by the fire.
Okay.
There's very many doorways. Is that what I'm seeing?
Yeah, there's quite a few. You see the one to, like, if you're now facing that way from the fire, it would be to your right. It was originally your left when you came in. You see that there's an open doorway now that Duros, Vibrant, and Bog have entered into. There's another 2 doors on the other side of the red carpet that way. And there are other doorways in the room, but they're all very, very close to the suits of armor. And having seen what happened when you got close before, there's a little bit of trepidation about whether or not you want to go.
Yeah, all right. So is this a situation where I could use my familiar bandit? Go sneak underneath the door from that bedroom and see what's past that door?
Oh, yeah. So from the one that they're in into the next room and see what's there? Yeah, absolutely. You could do that.
So I'll try that.
Okay.
So it's a situation where I'm able to see through him and hear through him.
Right, but you in turn will not be able to see or hear while you're doing that. So, so are you doing this while you're sitting by the fire, or go ahead?
Yes, but while I'm sitting by the fire, and can I communicate out loud, like obviously what I'm seeing and hearing?
Yes. Yeah.
Perfect.
So you send Bandit to do that to go underneath. But before we get to that, so Vibrant is looking at the tome, and inquisitively you can hear him arguing with Taylor. Like, no, I know it's a book. I can see that. He starts to fiddle with the latch a little bit. And as he opens the tome, as soon as he opens the tome, there's a flash of light. And Bog and Duros, I need you to make a Constitution saving throw.
Oh dear. I'm good at this.
$18.
18?
Yeah, that's a nat 1.
Nat 1. So Bog, you're able to kind of just shield yourself for a moment. Duros, the flash actually blinds you for a moment, so you can't see. It was so bright. But Bog, what you see, not being blinded, is as the book was opened and the flash occurred, you see Vibrant now is essentially petrified, and he has just turned to stone, like just from opening the book. So he's holding the book now, Taylor over his shoulder, peering over, and Taylor and Vibrant now are literally a statue holding this book.
Hey guys, I think we got a problem. Curiosity may have killed the cat or a tabaxi. I walk over. I tap on Vibrant's face. Hey, Vibrant, you all right in there? I tap on Taylor's face. Taylor?
It's cold stone to the touch. And by the way, you get bonus points for the curiosity kills the cat thing. That was kind of the intent here, but go ahead.
I take out my big, huge, like Cavalier hat, and I hang it on Taylor, literally like a hat rack. And I put like my disguise cape around them. Like, I hope that holds. Yeah, no one sees it, so we figure out how to. I'm gonna have to X them a night about this one. And I will kind of be like, grab Duros to make sure he's okay.
I'm not. I can't see.
Yeah, so after about a minute or so, your sight starts to come back. You still have kind of that dark spotting. Yeah, it's not quite as long as being stuck in carbonite or anything like that, but it does come back eventually. So.
Hey Duros, we got a problem.
What in the hell was that?
That's Vibrant. Yeah. Trying to cover him up a little bit. Yeah, he kind of turned to stone when he opened that book. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, that's not good.
And
yeah, I got nothing.
Bog and Duros, make a perception check for me.
Ooh, my strong suit.
And Juniper, I have not forgotten about Bandit. I will get to Bandit, I promise. So I know he's going out of the door. So just give me a second.
12.
22.
22. So what you notice, Duros, you see a statuesque cat now holding a book. Not much else. But Bog, what you notice is that one of the pages of the book is now kind of laying kind of outside of the book. It's not quite fallen to the ground yet, but it's obviously loose and just kind of hanging.
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna call out to everyone that's by the fire.
I'm gonna kind of just like poke it a little bit with my sword, leading away, kind of make sure that it's not like booby trapped the page. Yeah.
So as you kind of catch it with the sword, just tears the paper a little bit, and the paper kind of wafts down, settles gently on the ground, and you can see that there's some writing on the page.
Well,
don't do it. Don't do it.
Anybody got mage hand?
Mirror.
Juniper has mage hand. How can
Juniper, thanks. Yeah.
So before we get to that, let's do this because there's some things happening simultaneously, and I forgot, and I don't want to lose Juniper. So Juniper, you had sent Bandit in while this was occurring.
Can't help that man do that.
So what we're going to do is we're going to resolve the Bandit piece first, and then they can basically call you back out of your trance with Bandit, and you can do the mage hand. So we're kind of moving back in time for a moment. So when you sent him over to that room, what you see is that this is another bedroom. It's a smaller guest room, but as he kind of comes in and sniffs around and looks around, the bed is disheveled. The paintings in this room have also been destroyed, similar to the room before. But the one object in this room, and the door is currently closed to everyone, the one object in this room that you see is you still see a dresser. And on that dresser, he can make out that there's something on top of it, but he can't quite get up high enough to see. But there's something sitting on top of the dresser, and the dresser looks to be intact. Other than that, he doesn't really see anything else in the room. It's a bedroom, but there's things of interest.
I guess in that situation, I hear from Bandit's hearing that someone needs mage hand. Come out of my trance.
Perfect.
And I asked Bog, how can I help?
Right now you're the only tabaxi we have that's not petrified. So we're not sure if this piece of paper here, that fell out of the book is what petrified, vibrant, and Taylor, or if it's what's gonna tell us how to undo it. So we're thinking maybe you could just like pick it up with mage hand and we'll put it like in a bag or something. So none of us actually have to come face to face with the writing. Yeah.
Well, I guess I'll use my to I guess walk into the room.
Yeah, so in this case, since we're out of combat, you don't necessarily have to think in terms of actions and movements. So It's a little bit more free form. So you can just walk into the room and you can cast your cantrip if you'd like for mage.
I'll walk into the room and
You're fading out on the microphone again. If we can move it a little bit closer, it's just the pickup's a little.
so I'll walk into the room and I'll go to Bog and I'll my mage hand.
Okay.
And Bog is gonna just take like a bag pouch and like literally hold it like this and like look away. Just tell me when you got it, Juniper. Right here for you.
Okay, so you cast your mage hand and the spectral hand appears. It looks like a cat's paw, very similar to yours. And you gently reach down, you pick up the page off the ground, and as you pick it up, you can see, there's writing on the parchment as you hold it. And you bring it over to the bag, and I assume you place it in. And you release it, and the page falls into the bag. No blinding flash, nothing that anybody can... nothing appears to happen.
Bob closes the bag. Thanks, Juniper. Guys, I think if we find something like an orc or something, we should ask him if he can help us read this letter. Yeah. Just maybe see what happens.
Is it in orc?
I don't know.
Anything that's intelligent enough to read, Duros, that's not one of us.
Oh, okay.
I can read many things.
But what if you get frozen?
Yeah, but we don't want you to turn to stone, Fletchy.
Is the book like on a rest or is it in the bag?
The book is in Vibrant's hands
It's
now.
hands, right?
Yeah. So when you come into the room, Deimos, what you see is essentially Vibrant holding the book, like opened like this. What was taken out was a loose page that fell, that may or may not have been of the book, but fell out of the book itself, and they placed the page into the book.
Is there a mirror anywhere in the bedroom, or can I borrow someone's short sword or sword if they have a sword?
I'm gonna try to take my quarterstaff and knock it out of Vibrant's hands.
The book?
Yeah, the book.
So if anybody wants to answer Fletch's question, then while you do that, so you come in with the staff, the book falls out of his hands and hits the ground.
Let me do a redo. Rather, I want to
screams out. Be careful!
I want to knock the book into the air and kind of catch it and put it in a satchel. Does that make sense?
It does. It does. Make a dexterity check for me.
Kidding me? 12.
So trying to navigate both with the quarterstaff and trying to catch it with the satchel is a little difficult to do both. So you're able to get the book up and out of his hands, but before you can get to the satchel, it crashes to the floor. But as it falls to the floor, make a perception check for
Not 20, so 25.
25. As it falls to the floor, it falls open. The pages are blank.
Hmm.
So, Fletch, you had asked if anybody had a reflective surface, I believe.
Yeah, I was gonna take a reflective surface and gaze at the book if their pages were theirs instead of direct.
I didn't have it in mind. I thought we each got like a small steel mirror in our venturing pack. If not, I can let her use my sword. It's polished quite enough to reflect, I guess.
Okay. Do you want to use that to look at, because the book is open obviously to 2 pages. You're a librarian, you know how books work. So it's open to 2 pages that appear to be blank. Do you want to go ahead?
Can I do an insight or a religion check?
Not insight, not for this. There's no writing on the pages. You could do an investigation check maybe, and then if you find something, we could,
Can I also do an investigation check to see if the book looks valuable?
So that one's so the book itself does not. It looks old. It looks like an old tome, but it doesn't have any sort of gilding. It doesn't have a lock. The pages themselves appear to be fairly plain parchment. So just to an untrained eye per se, it doesn't appear to be of any value. Like it's not a religious tome. It doesn't, with no writing on the pages that you could see, it doesn't seem to be of value.
Okay.
So Fletch, make an investigation check for me.
I got an 18.
An 18. So you using the mirror and kind of carefully turning the pages without necessarily looking at them directly, all of the pages in this book appear to be blank. And also, as you look, not only are the pages blank, but you don't see anywhere where there would have been a tear, like where the page that fell out would have been ripped from it. So you start to question whether or not the page itself was part of the book or something separate.
Okay.
Brief retcon moment, my fault. I'm too busy shoveling salad on my fat face. After Bog yelled out, "Deimos, be careful!" And he did not turn to stone, I walk over to him and give him 4 more bone caltrops that I made during the short rest, which I rolled the 4 and a D4 for. And I say again, when I hand it to him, I'm like, "Careful, buddy. Like, I can't undo this stuff yet. I'm going to have to talk to Seminaya. I don't know what to do to Vibrant. Yeah."
Well, we can leave him here. It doesn't seem like he's going anywhere.
Yeah, I don't think we're carrying him.
If we can find something in the cave to help him.
Can I do an insight check or a medicine check?
Do a medicine check. Let's do that. And by the way, Deimos, I did add caltrops to your inventory. I think you have a total of 8 or something like that. I couldn't remember, so I just did.
Yeah, plus his 4, it makes 12 now.
Yeah, so you can just, in your inventory, you can actually add those to that. You have the bone caltrops. So real quick, let me get Fletch's medicine check first, and then
18 again.
an 18. So what you know of from your experience with the druids and what you know of this, you have seen petrification before. Usually it's not as quick as this seemed to have been. Like this was almost instantaneous, but you had heard of things like turning flesh to stone, for example. You know that there are certain things that will help to reverse it. Some of it being higher level spells like a greater restoration, potentially scrolls or potions, or even a salve made from like a basilisk, for example. None of which, to your knowledge, you have readily available.
Nope. I have none of those things.
Leslie, sorry, what was your question, dear?
All right. So I don't know if you can tell me this or not, but what caused his petrification? Was it opening the book or touching the book?
So for Bog and Duros, who were in the room at the time, they saw Vibrant holding the, he had handled the book. It was upon opening it that the flash occurred, and then he found himself like this.
So in a situation like this, can I use my spell Identify to learn, the spell behind it?
That's a good question. Let me look at Identify for a moment.
Or Arcana.
Yeah, or an Arcana check potentially. Give me a second. I like the way you guys are thinking now. Go ahead, Bog, while I'm taking a look.
I think it would at least, that's a great idea, Leslie. I think it would at least tell her if the book was a spell book or like had magic, where the trigger came from, if it had like a residue of it.
Yeah, it says you learn its properties and how to use them, whether it requires attunement, and how many charges it has, if any. Learn whether any spells are affecting the item and what they are. If the item was created by the spell, you learn which spells.
So what I would say is, and do you want to cast this as a spell slot, or do you want to take 10 minutes to do it as a ritual? Remember, we were talking about this. If you do it as a ritual, it doesn't cost a spell slot. It just takes time. If you cast it just straight away, you're going to burn one of your spell slots for it.
Takes a minute of. If we do.
So any spell, for the most part, like this, can be cast as a ritual. And what that means is you basically set additional time aside, it's typically 10 minutes, to set up the spell, do the spell in a very controlled manner, and then you don't have to burn a spell slot for it. If you cast it just straight away, the 1 minute casting time, your spell slot would be consumed and you wouldn't get that back until a long rest. So I'm just offering you that as you get used to using the spells.
Cast it.
You just cast it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Cast it.
Okay, so use up the spell slot for that. And what you determine from it is the book itself now doesn't appear to have any magical properties to it. The spell that was triggered was a flesh to stone spell, but you assume the trigger was opening the book, but whatever magic is there has been used. It's now gone. And so you're being a rogue. You basically looked at it. It was trapped, essentially.
You think she can Juniper, you think you can do that on the page while you have that up?
At this point, I guess I'll do the ritual. I can definitely try it and do ritual. Take me 10 minutes to the page.
Does she have is Identify like a time thing? Like she has it up for like a minute or so that she could do multiple items, or does she have to cast again?
She has to cast it again because it's one object per cast.
Oh, my bad.
At this point, I guess we could do the rather than casting it, do the ritual. It'll just take a little longer to identify.
So why don't we do this? Because again, this is part of the learning part of this, right? So rather than have you burn this spell, let's have it. You did the ritual anyway. And even if it takes 20 minutes per se to look at both, you're obviously concerned about your friend and you're trying to figure out what's going on. So I'm going to say that you did this as a ritual casting for both objects. You don't have to use your spell slot, and we'll just do it that way. Okay. So you still have your spell slot for later. So we talked about the book. So the page, do you take it back out, Bog? Are we using Mage Hand again, or are you just dumping out the bag and letting the page fall?
I'm just gonna like put the bag on the floor and like slowly shake it out and walk away.
Sorry, I was picturing this. Who's the steak guy with the salt? And kind of you sprinkle the salt across it.
Emerald. Damn.
So the page falls from the bag and falls to the floor. And Leslie, Juniper uses her Identify spell. And the page itself also you don't detect any magic on the page. You can see that there's writing. Nobody's looked at it closely enough yet to read the writing. Though you catch a glimpse of a word in common. But there's no magic or residual magic on this page that came out of the book. So it doesn't appear that the page was part of the book to begin with.
I use Mage Hand to read the page.
You can use Mage Hand to pick up the page and kind of bring it close to you, but you're still going to have to use your eyes to read it.
Can I use the sword to read it secondhand?
You may. So you use the reflective surface. So Juniper identified it. She's explained there's no magic. You're looking at the page. You use the mirror to kind of read it. And it takes you a second because the page is backwards in the mirror. But what you see is, and I actually have something for this one. Look at you guys. Teamwork, using spells. I'm so proud of you guys.
You're learning.
This is what you see on the page. Maybe.
It's not bad. No.
Hold on. It's gonna come up. It's gonna come up. Now I have the technical difficulties again. Come on, goddammit. Here it comes. Here it comes. I swear. Yes. Okay. Perfect. That's what you see.
So am I reading this out loud to everyone? Can I read it out loud?
Can you?
I can read.
I thought you couldn't talk though.
I can recite.
Okay.
I mean, I'll defer to our DM. Can I recite?
You have experience with enough of the sounds required to recite this letter. So.
Okay. Uktar 24. The enemy has been much more active than normal. The foul orcs and their armies have been on the move. The Broken Hand, the tribe which has been marauding the towns, have been far bolder in their attacks. Rumors of a white dragon have been floating around of late, and reports that the orcs themselves have made an alliance with the creature. It would not surprise me, but if true, it bodes ill for all of us.
Well, time, decent clue. I was beginning to think this dragon was a myth.
Bog says, well, that's kind of not good. Yeah, not good at all.
Should we move deeper into the manor?
King's Landing, underground.
See if we can.
Do we want to go into the other room?
Yeah, can we go into the room through the door where the other sets of armor are? On the northern end.
Do you want to go that way, or do you want to go to the room that Bandit had seen that's adjacent to this one? You guys tell me where you want to go.
Has that mysterious item.
Yeah, we gotta go in there real quick.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll take my hat and cloak back off Vibrant and be like, hey guys, should we like throw like a bed sheet over him or something? Or you think he's like just okay like this?
He's fine.
Okay.
Did his satchel of gold turn to stone too?
All of him is stone at this point. Clothing, anything attached to him, yes.
Okay.
And Taylor. So you're moving into the room that Bandit had looked at then?
Was the door locked to that room?
No. Bandit went underneath, but the doors so far, you haven't encountered any locked doors. Everything seems to be unlocked for the two doors now you've tried. So this appears to be another guest room now that you're all seeing it, not just Bandit. It's also a room that's in a state of significant disarray. The paintings, similar to the other room that had been on the wall, now lie on the floor. They've been cut up and torn. Some appear to be by hand, some by blade potentially. The covers on the bed have been pulled off and lie on the floor as well. The dresser appears to have taken some damage, but it seems to be the least damaged object in the room. What's the marching order here? Who came in first, or who's entering into the room? That's always a trick question when I ask that, I know. But.
Yeah, can I go in first and then make an investigation check?
So Deimos is going in. Who else is going in? Sorry. Fletch, Duros, Bob.
Can I detect traps?
Yes. So
or find traps, whatever it is.
Yeah. So you're looking specifically for traps. Give me an investigation check.
I do have that as a spell. Does it matter?
Oh, okay. Yeah, you can cast that if you want to.
Okay. I cast it. Find traps.
I like that. I cast it.
I cast it.
It was a good accent. Not for you, not for me. Mine was horrible. So let's see here. What does that allow you to see? Features.
I sense the presence of any trap within range, 120 feet.
So what you... Give me a second. I want to think about this.
It detects any alarm spells, glyphs of warding, mechanical pit traps, just not natural weaknesses.
Okay. You don't detect any traps in the room. The one thing that gives you some pause, so you don't detect any outright traps, but the one thing that gives you some pause is what you notice on top of the dresser as you're looking and as you've cast your spell. And so on top of the dresser is what appears to be a bronze music box just sitting on top of the dresser.
I've seen this Supernatural episode. I know what this means.
I've actually never watched Supernatural. My nerd card's going to get revoked here, but so
You got a problem with hot guys?
it's just not my thing. I know it's
You don't like hot guys and monsters?
I like monsters, but I'm not judging. I'm not judging anyone here. But anyway, so Deimos, you also were looking around. So go ahead and make a separate investigation check. Fletch, you've caught the eye of this. You've caught this music box in your eye, but I want to have Deimos have his check too.
Oh, no, 7.
7. You look around and you also spot the music box, but you also don't see anything else in the room, right? I mean, it's kind of apparent. It's sitting there on the dresser. Given everything else in the room, it's the one thing that stands out. So it's.
Okay.
Also, just so you guys know, there is because again the borders aren't clear. There is a door north from this room. So you came in from the eastern edge next to the bed. There's a door going north that's currently closed in the center of the wall.
Okay,
Can I
so
go check the door handle?
Door handle appears unlocked. Go ahead, Fletch.
can I walk closer to the music box? Do I still have the sword? I'm going to look at everything indirectly.
Okay.
And so I'm approaching the music box. Can I do either an investigation or an insight check?
So just so you know, so insight typically I use for reading people, right? So you're trying to figure out intention, truth,
Okay.
whatever. So investigation would be at play here.
Okay.
So go ahead and are you picking it up? Are you looking at it from a distance?
I'm just looking at it. I'm not touching it right now. I have my sword and I'm just kind of like moving it around to see if I can see any writing on it, any sigils, any glyphs.
So
something that stands out.
yeah. So without an investigation check, so this is just passive investigation. I'll give you part of this,
Okay.
and then we can determine how you want to proceed. So as you're looking at it, you're not touching it just yet, but as you're looking at it, so it is a bronze music box, and you see on the top of the box itself, on the lid, there appears to be a small kind of glyph of like 2 fencing swords or 2 rapiers kind of crossed. The bronze, the entire box is made of bronze, so you can see that part is like a little bit tarnished and recessed. There's a very delicate and detailing that goes along the edges of the box, like a gilding of like ivy and so forth. And as you peer underneath, you can just make out just a bit from where it's raised on its feet of what appears to be a key underneath that would be to wind the box. That's what you see just passively.
Okay.
Don't fiddle with it.
But it's shiny.
It is shiny. It is shiny.
Can I use this sword to kind of prod it?
You may. So you poke it. You poke it with a stick, as it were. The box kind of slides on the top. does that little metal on wood scratchy sound. I can't make it, so you just have to imagine. But it does move, and you can see as it moves that the dust on the dresser shifts. So it's been sitting there undisturbed for some period of time. But nothing happens. Like the box doesn't make any sound. It doesn't seem to. Nothing springs open. Nothing falls from the ceiling. It seems fairly.
Is it like just a lid, or does it have like a little latch to open it?
There's no latch, so it's just the lid on top of the box. There's no latch. It's just a clean seam from lid to bottom.
Okay. I'm gonna take the tip of the sword and kind of like maneuver it into the seam. I'm gonna shield my eyes and I'm gonna flip it open.
Okay. So
what part of the sword are you gonna use? Just the tip?
The tip.
Okay.
Don't engage. Don't engage. We know this game. Don't engage. So you put the sword in. And before you do that, what's everybody else doing? Because I know Damus, you're testing the door handle. Well, I'm gonna make Fletch sweat this one out for a second. So you're testing the door handle. It appears to be unlocked to the next room. Bog, Duros, Juniper. What about you guys?
I'm just standing in the back. I went in there last.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm just there observing what's going on.
Okay. And Duros, what about you?
I'm just
Boba Fetting your way around.
poking Mikey's frozen body.
Is he still blind?
No. He's
okay.
And Ian, by the way, he's kind of come into the room and started to look around a little bit. Just he's not saying much. He kind of like lifts up a blanket on the bed and tosses it to the side. He's just kind of looking around the room to see if he can see anything. Very much a Ian-esque presence to him. So Fletch, you get the sword tip into the box and pop the lid and shield your eyes.
With my sword.
So the lid springs open, and
Not looking.
And you don't hear anything. Nobody screams. Do you want to look?
I'm gonna use my sword to indirectly look. I'm still shielding my eyes.
So what you can see inside is the music box itself is basically the lid is lined with appears to be a dark sort of velvet or fabric or something like that. But the figure within the music box is a tiny little swordsman, a little fencer, that's sitting kind of with his rapier, extended. And you would imagine that based on the design of the music box, he would spin as the music would play.
All right.
Turn that music box on.
And at this point, Ian now has walked over towards you as well and is kind of watching what you're doing. So he's standing off to the side.
He's watching me.
Turn it on.
Well, if I'd have to. I don't want to touch it.
Ask Ian to turn it on.
Hey, Ian, you want to?
I'll look at Ian and I'll point to the music box. Or can I close the lid and flip the music box over with the sword? And then point to Ian and make the turn, like the crank sound of a turning gear.
You absolutely may. So you flip the music box over. It makes a little bit of a clatter. Now everybody's kind of like looking like what's going on over here. And you direct Ian to the key and the idea of turning the key. Ian kind of looks at you, looks at the box, and with some trepidation, reaches for the box itself. Let's see if he's actually going to fall. Oh yeah, he's stupid. So anyway, we picked up a bag. I'm kidding. It was a low roll.
Sorry, Ian.
Yeah. So Ian takes the box and just 1, 2, 3, and as you makes the click 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 click. And then he puts down the box. And as he opens the box, the figure begins to spin and the music begins to play. And I need you to make a Constitution saving throw. Because you're right next to
me.
Yes.
Damn it.
Ooh, and Ian rolled a natural 1, by the way. And I would show you this, but I'm not kidding. He actually rolled a natural 1.
I got a 15.
15. Okay. So as the music starts to play, you start to feel yourself get drowsy. Like your eyelids become really heavy, but you shake it off. Like, what was that? And you look over and you see Ian's eyes are now closing, and he's looks like he's falling asleep standing from the sound of this music.
Can I slam the box shut, shriek, and give him a shake?
Yes. So as soon as you do, it takes a moment. Like you shake Ian, and his eyes spring open, and he looks at you, and then he kind of looks around. He looks confused. He looks very confused.
Next room. Next room. Next room.
Can I take the music box? Let me see. What do I have in my stuff? I want to tie it shut, and I want to put it in my stuff.
Okay. So you have the music box now in your inventory. Ian, by the way, is still he's looking at his hands.
Looking at his hands. Oh, good.
And kind of just touching himself. He seems to be in a very odd way. It's just
Bog is gonna say, Ian, you were right there.
Can Fletch
buddy?
Can Fletch make the sound of the music box and then like pantomime Ian going to sleep?
So while all of that is happening, I'm sending Bandit under the door again to look at the other room.
Okay. So we got Bandit as our advanced scout. That's working pretty well. So, so 3 things here to resolve in order. So Bog, you say that to Ian, Ian with the snorting sound, and he doesn't react. He doesn't look at you as you said that. Fletch, you make the sound, and he's looking at you. But again, he's very confused. He's not smiling. He's not really acknowledging. He's looking at you and keeps looking at himself. Juniper, Bandit goes underneath the next door, and what Bandit sees. If I can actually, there we go. Is what appears to be a dining hall of some sort, a small dining hall. There's rotten food on the floor and on the table. Some of the chairs have been broken. He scurries around, nibbles a little bit of cheese or whatever, that kind of thing. But it doesn't appear to be anyone in the room itself. Before you leave, who was making investigation checks? Because I know there was Damos, you made one, right? You rolled fairly low. We had the one with the music box. Anybody else looking around or actively perceiving the room? That seems like a loaded question when I ask it like that, I know. But...
No.
Okay,
I'm good.
So
The only thing
go ahead.
I'd like to do is take out some of the earlier probably a jerky that Fletch might have made, which is just dried orc. And I'm gonna hand it to Ian or Ian and just be like, hey buddy, it's your favorite. And see if he eats it.
I also have food left over from when I cooked it from before.
So Ian reaches out and takes it and kind of looks at you quizzically, and I'm not really hungry right now, and just kind of tucks it away into his belt. But as you approach him, Bog, and you're handing him the jerky, where Ian had moved the blanket on the bed and had tossed it aside before going over to the music box, you notice on the ground is what appears to be another piece of paper.
Oh, look at the piece of paper.
You want to use Mage Hand for it? And Bog turns to stone. End of campaign. No, I'm kidding. It's coming, I swear.
Well, at least he can talk.
I'm typing these on the fly, apparently. So. Here we go.
Oh, we got another one. Nightal 3. The rumor, in quotation marks, has now been confirmed. During our last patrol, we were set upon by a large white dragon, larger than any I've ever seen before. She flew over us and unleashed her frost breath, decimating our numbers before flying off into the dark clouds. The next morning, we were attacked by the orcs. That is not a coincidence. Undoubtedly, the dragon wore us down and sent her faithful army to finish us off. But despite our wounds, we were able to drive them away. But for how long? I'm going to take the piece of paper and put it in Vibrant's hands and be like, found your dragon, bud. If you turn back to normal, you might want to read that. I told you, kind of not good. Yeah.
And then I go back and join the rest of the group.
Okay. And so Bandit has scouted the room ahead. You guys are moving into the next room now?
I believe so.
So as you enter the room, you see this dining hall. There's a large oak table, 10 feet long, 5 feet wide, that sits in the middle of the room. The room looks to be in a state of disarray. Some of the damage appears to have been from some sort of battle or some sort of attack. You see that parts of the ceiling itself are kind of collapsed and broken in, and you see parts of the wood lay across the table. Some of it also appears as if this room had been ransacked at some point in time. Go ahead and, let's see, actually passive perception. Nobody needs to necessarily roll for this. So anybody with more than a passive perception of 12, you notice that there's no silverware on the table. There's nothing appears of value. There's just rotten food and not much else except for another piece of paper that is on the table.
Can we go towards it and I'll stab the paper and move it towards us?
Okay, so you stab it and drag it towards you. Juniper Bandit scurries back up onto your shoulder and is kind of just nibbling there. So you flip the page and you see that there's writing again on the page. You want to read it? Do you want to?
Yeah, I want to read it. All right.
Nobody said there'd be reading, right?
All right. As I feared, we've been given the command by the order to hunt down the dragon that has attacked us. My return home to my wife, my children, and my peace must wait. I cannot tell if the burning anger I feel towards the dragon now is greater for my brothers in arms taken from us by its attack, or because I now must be away from hearth and home even longer. But my duty is clear. My devotion to Helm will guard me. We will find this dragon and we will prevail. Until then, I miss you and will be home soon, I promise.
By the way,
Okay.
This guy isn't signing. He isn't signing his letters.
I'm kind of going to pull up everybody close, almost like to a whisper. So I'll pick up Fletch to bring her up to height.
Hey guys, something's definitely wrong with Eon. besides being confused, when I gave him that piece of jerky there, it was a orc jerky. And the first time Fletch and I ever had a little bit of a snack together, he was like appalled by that fact. And all he said was he wasn't hungry, but he kept it. So I don't think he knows who we are.
And actually, all of you, make an insight check. So as Boggs says this, all of you kind of start to try to look at Ian a little bit sideways, whatever, just, passing glance, like, shh, don't look at him kind of stuff. But make insight checks for me.
Hey.
22.
19.
You said insight or investigation?
Insight, please. Deimos and Juniper, you guys too.
8.
20.
17.
Rolling like shit today.
I'll wait for Molly to come back. There she is. So,
Sorry, I'm selling stuff.
no, it's okay. It's okay. He's fine. So, as you guys are kind of conversing amongst yourselves, you notice like Ian is walking along and looking at the walls and looking at the table. And Fletch and Juniper especially, it almost looks like he's reminiscing, like he's remembering something. And you start to see like his eyes a little bit. He's a bit teary as he's looking, and he kind of quickly brushes it away and then looks back to the group like, so what are we talking about?
We're trying to figure out how to turn Vibrant back into a cat. He's been turned to stone. Yeah.
Can I say in Duros' voice, because I've heard him say it the most, of like, what are you thinking?
Ian kind of cocks his, like, almost, you catch a moment of surprise, especially with the 22 from before. Almost like a moment of surprise in the sound coming from your voice. I just, something terrible must have happened here. Just, I don't know.
Do you remember fighting suits of armor about 4 hours ago?
We were together, yes. Then of course.
I'm gonna ask him in Orc if he feels okay.
I don't understand you. Can you speak common or?
Okay, so that did nothing. Are you feeling okay, buddy?
I just a little under the weather, I think. I think the cold and it's just getting to me a bit.
How do you feel about foreman of mines?
Foreman of mines. Is that a person?
Yeah, kind of like the guy who like runs the mine, like keeps all the money.
I personally, I don't think I know any, but they have a job. I'm assuming that they're good people. That's an odd question.
Nope. Just checking. I'm new to this soft skin stuff, trying to learn. Yeah. And without him trying to notice, whoever's behind me, Duros or Juniper or Deimos, I start like trying to like, as opposed to kicking someone under the table, I kind of like start trying to tap him in the leg with my tail, like we, as if to communicate. We got a problem here. And I'll say to Ian as well. Well, this room looks pretty secure. Why don't you take a load off? There's a nice comfy bed right here, and we're just gonna go head up ahead a little bit, see if we can't unstone our feline friend. Yeah.
I should come with you. We shouldn't separate.
Let Bog look at his spells.
What about the rest of you while this is happening?
We got another door to go through?
Yes, there is a door to the north from this room that you can
Using
proceed.
bandit again.
Good. You want to send Bandit through? So Bandit scurries in, and this room, this next section just appears to be a hallway. There's some tattered paintings still clinging to the wall, a few laying on the floor. I'll review the map, even though it keeps refreshing and it's driving me nuts. I'm going to get a seizure from the flash. So Bandit decides to kind of proceed just a little bit further in because, it's like, okay, I don't see anything. I don't see anything. It's a hallway. I'll peek under the next door. And he doesn't go too far, but as he peeks underneath, he can see that at the end of the hallway, it's what appears to be a rather large bedroom. With a lot of debris, a lot of things going on. He's not quite going all the way in. He's just kind of underneath the door, but it was like, okay, nothing of interest. Let me see what I can find. And this is what you're seeing.
I see that on his bandit's way in, there's a door towards the left as well.
Maybe. Actually, no, that's just walls. So everything, yeah. So
Okay.
yes, it's a little hard to tell because I can't zoom on my other one because it'll refresh. But everything to the left, once you get past that reversed L, that's all just stone wall.
Gotcha. So I communicate to the team that it's clear. Looks same as other rooms, all ravaged up. And we can, I guess, continue forward.
And there's the refresh.
Is Fletch still next to Bog?
Yeah.
Can Fletch pull on his shirt and be like, point to Ian and say, "Need help"?
I think so, Fletchy. Something's definitely wrong with him.
Can I don't have any restoration spells this level yet, but can I make some sort of a check to see if he might be charmed or magically influenced?
Make an Arcana check.
Can I do that as well?
Yeah. Since you're both kind of talking about this together, yeah, that makes sense.
Arcana.
Oh,
Right.
whole 14 for me.
Great.
You say a one Bog?
No, I said -1,
Oh, okay, sorry.
which gives me a whopping 2.
A whopping 2 and a 14. So
We're killing it.
we got to thaw those dice somehow. So you, Bog, you're not sure. You know something is off just based on, your insightfulness. Something is off with him, and he's obviously responded strangely to some of your inquiries, things that he should have known and so forth. But in terms of causation, like what was this? And even you, Fletch, as you're thinking about it, not quite sure. Maybe it had something to do with the music box. Maybe it had something to do with him falling asleep, but not really. The specifics of it are lost on you.
I want to slap him in the back of the head.
Okay. So you thwappy. Ow! What was that for?
Nothing?
Was it supposed to be something? I don't.
Yeah, all right. Sorry.
I think you had a spider on your head, yeah.
Should
He's
we,
a ranger. He's good at finding that stuff, remember?
should we move
Point
forward?
of note,
Yeah.
if I am not letting him be the last person behind us, I'm going to be behind him by about a good 6 or 7 feet. And before I do that, would I know he can't speak Orc. At least he's pretending he can't. Where the hell are my languages? Here we are. Would I know what languages Juniper speaks or no?
I don't think it's ever come up in conversation.
Never mind then. I'm gonna manage to walk on over to Juniper and be like, "Oh, Juniper, it's speaking of lack of silverware in there, I got that spoon, and without Eon seeing him, but I was gonna give like the worst, most obvious like wink, like all the jaws and the teeth, like that spoon you asked for. And as I hand her the spoon, Bog whispers as low as possible, "Hey, Juniper, can you put him to sleep if we have to?"
Sure. Can.
Okay, just keep that in mind. All right, let's head out. Eon, your spoon set is next, buddy.
So what's
And
the
then Bob
Go ahead.
gonna wait for everybody to leave and follow about good 7-10 feet behind Eon.
Okay, so who's going into the hallway first? Who's taking the lead? Who's points? Bandit's gone in and looked before, but who's taking the point?
I guess I'll follow Bandit in.
Okay, so Bandit's now back with you, so you're going to take the point because you've seen this now firsthand, so you can kind of navigate. So Juniper's at the point. Who's behind Juniper?
I'll come up behind her.
Okay, so Juniper and Deimos. What about you, Fletch and Duros?
I will follow.
Okay, and so Ian falls in behind Fletch and Duros, and Bog, you're bringing up the rear. As you're walking, Bog, make a perception check as you're keeping an eye on Ian. Actually, no, you've got like 20. Forget it. I don't know why I have you roll. So as you're watching Ian intently, as you're entering into this hallway with the artwork, some of it on the ground, some of it on the walls, you see him pause occasionally and just kind of touch the painting. And then as he's moving along, you see like he puts his fingers on almost like the chair molding of the hallway and just kind of like almost like the sensation, like he's just not fond.
So he's done ecstasy.
Right, like everything that he's touching right now is like
That's Molly.
It's a new experience. Oh my God, Molly on X is just that's an OnlyFans page. Anyway, so as we move through that,
like tactile stimulation, kind of like when you
Yeah.
give kids that like sand, the kinetic sand.
yeah, very similar but there's a level of almost like a longing or remembrance with each of the touches too. Like it's the feeling, but there's also a somberness in the face as it does it as he's moving along. So.
Mm-hmm. Good to know.
So Juniper, taking the lead, you end up in what appears to be the large master bedroom. There's a bed against the western wall. You can also see at the north end, there's a large desk pushed against the northern wall.
Yeah.
Just like the rest of the house, there's a number of paintings in various states of disarray. And you're noticing a common theme. So all of the paintings, have some level of roses or flowers or trees, very nature driven, but also very similar style. Like if you were to guess, they were probably done by the same hand. Everything looks very much the same. Some of which have been destroyed, some of which have fallen off and been torn from their frames. There's also large pieces of rubble line the floor, and the ceiling here, similar to some of the other places that you've seen in the manor, has been collapsed. So there's a amount of debris. I'm going to try to just zoom this up a little bit. You can see there's an amount of debris in the room. There's a rather nice bear rug, by the way. The bed is disheveled. The desk is to that north corner. There's two bureaus to the left on the eastern wall. And then between those two bureaus, there's actually a doorway that continues on, currently closed.
Can I do a history check or a nature check for the artwork?
Do a history check.
Ain't no thing. 3.
It's just
It's so pretty.
it's beautiful. It's tasteful, but you just can't.
Why would someone destroy this?
I'm gonna make a bit of a try to make a perception check to see if anything feels off in the room besides Ian.
So while you're doing it, so since Juniper, since you came into the room first and Deimos right behind, what would you two like to do as you come into the room first, and then we'll kind of backtrack into some of these.
So while everybody's investigating this room, I'm sending Bandit between the doors to see what's going on in the other.
Okay. So you send, let me do that real quick, and then Deimos will get to you. So you send Bandit through, and what Bandit sees on the other side of the doors. You're sending him through the tube between the bureau, right?
Bureau's correct.
There actually is, by the way, as you kind of move up, there's another door to that northeast corner on the opposite side of the other bureau that you didn't notice at first, but and as you've come into the room, it's more clearly. But what he sees is a hallway. There's red carpets here. There's also paintings on the wall. Again, a lot of artwork, but it's a little bit colder in this hallway too. For some reason, it feels a little bit chillier to him. But that's what he sees on the other side of the door. So while Bandit's doing that, Deimos, what are you doing?
I'm just taking in the sights. I'm thinking about picking up that bear, the bearskin rug, kind of using it as a cloak.
Okay. Yeah, you can't. It's fairly hefty. It's a good 50 pounds of bear. So you're able to kind of put it up and it almost feels comical fashion. You're a good sized wood elf. You're 6 feet tall. But the paws just kind of wrap around you and almost look like a child putting on their father's shirt. But it's the rug itself it's a bit musty. It's been here for some time. The roof having collapsed, it's gotten wet over time. But it's a good look for you. You might be able to pull it off.
I got a 15 for that perception check on the room.
Yeah, so the room itself, you don't necessarily, other than the obvious chaos that has happened here in the past, you're not getting anything strange. The desk looks like it might be of interest though, but you don't get any odd feelings or any imminent threat from the room.
Okay, so I'll say, hey, Fletchy, Juniper, I think the desk is where we want to check. Can you guys do your thing to make sure it doesn't whammy any more of us?
I can find traps again if we need to do that, or investigate. I don't know what would be better. Probably traps if that's what we're worried about. Anyone?
Traps.
You can use mage hand to kind of sort through or look through things without any of us having to touch it.
Do you want to start with that, or do you want to start with looking for traps?
It would probably be best to look for traps, and then once it's all clear.
All right, I cast find traps.
Okay. You do not see any. You focus heavily on the desk area, but you also take advantage of kind of surveying the room. You don't see any traps. Nothing triggers your senses on that. Everything appears to be fairly benign.
Yes. Uses mage hand.
Can we
So,
investigate the dresser?
so are you checking? So I'm going to say with your detect, you've checked the room. So the bureaus and the desk and the bed, nothing appears to be trapped. So we'll just, that appears to be clear. So when you're using the mage hand or if you're doing investigations, just let me know if you're looking at the desk or if you're looking at the bureaus or if you're looking at the bed, just specifics of the furniture pieces now. It's kind of like a Raymore and Flanagan. I'm just trying to figure out how I can give you the best deal.
I'm gonna do the side ones by the door.
Okay.
Not the one that was the open drawer. And I got a 5. So
you got a 5. So you start looking through the drawers. It appears to be different sorts of just nightwear and other soft clothing that you can find. One of the bureaus is definitely male in nature. The other one appears to be more feminine in nature. It's a his and her set of bureaus.
I'm gonna sit down in the chair and just kind of look around.
Okay. So you have a seat in the chair. Anybody else looking at bureaus or desk or bed? Who's doing what? Fletch is kind of combing through the sock drawers at this point.
Is that a pile of like papers on the floor?
It's actually debris. It's where the ceiling has collapsed. So it's partially wood, some stone, and you can, as you look up, you see the night sky. You can see the snow still falling and blowing in the wind really heavily.
The only thing Bog is keeping an eye on at the moment is Eon.
Okay. So you're watching Ian. Juniper, you want to use your mage hand? Did you want to pop around anywhere? Or?
Yeah, just look through the desk.
Can I feel along the walls or like make a perception check to see if there's any like I guess like walls that like rotate or like secret entrances or anything like that?
Yeah, for that I'm gonna ask for an investigation check. If you're looking for something that purposeful. So make an investigation check. Juniper, while he's doing that, you check out the desk. What you find in the desk is another page. So there's a number of things written, whatever, but one thing of interest that you find, similar to what you found elsewhere, is another page.
19.
You feel around, you don't detect anything in the walls, nothing loose or whatever, but as you're moving around the bureau area, and you see Fletch kind of combing through the drawers, you catch a glimpse of something shiny in one of the drawers that she overlooks as she pushes some of the stuff aside.
Mr. Shiny.
All right. So I'm going to ask Fletch, did you check the other drawers? The other bureau?
She nods.
Okay.
And then like shakes her head and just holds up clothes and says, underwear. And then like shrugs her shoulders.
Okay. So I'm going to I'm going to hand her the bear that I'm wearing, and I'm going to ask her to hold this. I'm going
She'll probably fall down.
I'm going to throw it like kind of like on her head like a coat rack, and I'm going to go into the drawer to find the shiny object.
She'll make a shrieky sound and try to get it off.
So you're covered in this bear skin as you're trying to grapple with that. So Deimos, as she's doing that, I want you to make a sleight of hand check for me. Since you're not a rogue, I don't think you have sleight. So just make a dexterity check.
I do have sleight of hand.
Oh, you do? Oh, excellent. Okay, then yes.
I'm not proficient in it, but I rolled a 17.
17. So yeah, so as she's dealing with this bear, you're able to kind of reach in really quickly and you grab the shiny spot and you quickly take it out. Are you going to just try to look at it or are you going to pocket it? What are you going to do?
I'm going to pocket it and I'm going to go sit back down.
Okay. So you grab whatever you found, put it in your pocket. Fletch finally gets this bear skin off, feathers all kind of whatever. Nice face. Good face.
Ruffled, if you will.
And you go back to sit. Juniper, the letter that you found, as you bring it closer with your mage hand to take a look at it, this is what you see. And you can decide whether you want to read this or keep it to yourself. It's going to reload.
That says Tarsak.
Yeah, that's pretty good pronunciation.
All right. I sit in the ruins of my home. I am broken. How could this have happened? Why couldn't I have been here? Helm, God of protection, where was protection for my family? I spent my entire life since I was a child in loyal service to you. I put everything to the side for my duty, my dedication to your cause, and this is how I am repaid. My family slaughtered, my heart shattered. I am betrayed. Helm, the gods, my order. They are mine no more. May they burn in the eternal fire.
Bog immediately um while watching if Eon has any physical reaction to hearing this letter, is going to whoever is the farthest away from him, Deimos or Duros, or maybe both of them, kind of like get someone over to him out of earshot from Eon.
Go.
Who's furthest from him? Would it be Deimos in the chair or?
Where were you, Duros? Because I think Deimos is definitely far because he's in the chair right now. Ian's kind of moved his way around closer to the desk area.
I mean, I didn't really near the door, I guess, for the hallway.
All right. So I'm gonna go over probably like close to two of them.
Okay.
I'll give Deimos or Duros the nod to come over to Deimos. Like, hey guys, check out this sword I found in the other room. And then I'm not gonna go for Juniper or Fletch because obviously Juniper just read the letter. Hey guys, I think that these letters from this guy, I think that this is his home. That's why they weren't signed. He came in and found this place trashed. So, I don't know. Maybe that has something to do with, like, Eon. He's kind of looking like he's sad at all of his stuff. Maybe he's, like, possessed or something. I don't know, but I don't think this is a fort. I think this is this dude in the letter's home. Yeah.
Think this is Ian's place?
No, not Ian's place. Whoever the guy wrote the letters. And I think that guy might be in Ian's head.
Well, how big is this castle that we're in overall?
You couldn't really tell from the outside because between the snow and the darkness, you just saw this large presence. So it's really difficult to say. You do know from the size of the Great Hall, the Great Hall itself was probably somewhere around 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, around accurately, like 100, 120 by 80 feet. I mean, it's a pretty big Great Hall, so you would assume that the keep itself was pretty big.
All right. So, sorry. Go ahead, Deimos.
So I'm gonna go up to Ian and ask him, where's your favorite place in this castle?
So you go up to Ian. Ian, by the way, is kind of, looking at the bed.
Or rather, can you show me? Can you show me your favorite place in this castle?
He turns his head kind of sideways and looks at you, and he's like, I don't know what you mean. I've never been here before. This is our first time.
Okay. Bog is says to Duros, because now Deimos has turned away. Fletch found women's underwear and men's clothing here. Keep an eye out for kids' clothing, because he said his wife and children. I'm gonna run back to those other two rooms and see if I can find anything that a child may have. Oh, maybe like a music box.
Oh.
So Bog is gonna do a little trot down back to one of the bedrooms and just look in the dresser, which I'm assuming has already been picked through, to see if the clothes would be the size of a child, maybe.
So the dresser in this particular room, as you open up the drawers, are surprisingly bare.
Bare.
And not bare like the cloak, but bare as an empty.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, strike out on that.
Okay.
All right, I rejoin the group.
Okay.
I mean, he's sad. He's not acting childish. I mean, right? Fletch just has to teach him some flares.
It's so funny when the whisperers think that they can't be heard. So what would you like to do now? So you've looked in the drawer, you found this letter. You're talking amongst yourselves. Ian, confused by Damos's question, after his response, takes a few moments, then continues to kind of look around the room.
I'm gonna go up to Fletch and tell her that she should try and get Ian to play a game with her.
Okay, so Fletch turns her head to the side and looks at Duros. You know, whisper. And she whispers, "Why? Why game? Why play?"
Because I think that the child might have possessed him.
So Fletch makes a nod sound. So she walks over to Ian, and she's much smaller than him, but like stands up on her toes, and she holds her feathered hands out and says, "Play game."
So Ian's hands extend and kind of touch yours. What game?
Play fast. Play fast. You move fast. And then she removes her hand and slaps the tops of his and then puts hers back.
So Ian kind of, but you see a small little smile kind of on his face a bit, and he puts his hands on. And says, "Okay, I'm ready this time. Go ahead, Bog."
Nope, I gotta look something up while you guys are playing. Just
Okay.
Fletch makes a happy sound, like a giggle, like a child's giggle, like a human child's giggle, and says, "Okay, play game," and puts her bag down and says, "Okay, ready, Ian, ready." And she looks at him and says, "No, Ian."
Ready.
And she goes to move her hands to slap his hands again.
Okay, dexterity check. Contested.
Dexterity check, go. All right. She has got 17.
And Ian rolled an 18. So you go to slap the hands and lose the hands in time, and you miss, and you just catches air. And you hear a small little chuckle like come out of Ian, and then catches
Bog.
again.
While they're doing that, Bog is going to turn and hold up the inside of his shield, which carved into it is his holy symbol of Semaniah. He's going to activate Channel Divinity, pointing in their direction, and he's going to turn undead.
What?
That doesn't sound fun.
Give me a
Ghosts
second.
are undead. If the kid's a ghost, it should pop it out the body.
Give me a second.
I know turn undead doesn't work like that. I'm really looking at it as a stretch.
Hold on. I'll be with you in a moment. Give me a second. I like the way you're going here.
Yeah, clearly, I don't have the spell that would make this very easy, so I'm trying to. It's a stretch. I'll admit that. Surely, I'm really trying to stretch the legality of how turn undead works in 5e.
Can I ask? I'm going to ask Ian. where's your favorite hiding place?
So, as playing the game, Deimos, you asked your question as Bog casts Turn Undead. And as he does so, and Fletcher in the middle of the game, so the hands start to come, down. As he does so, Ian collapses, and you catch, for a moment, it's almost surreal. You see this apparition of a young girl, long tresses. Her dress is it's a child's dress, but it's fine wear. Like it's definitely nobility. And she floats for a moment, and she still has her hands in the same position. Like she wasn't expecting to suddenly be out, but there before you, she couldn't be older than maybe 13. Is now floating there and suddenly looks surprised that she's no longer within the shell of Ian.
Fletch makes a surprise sound.
Bog is gonna say, "Oh, good call, Ranger buddy." Well, hello. My name is Bog, and Bog does smiling. What's your name, little one? Mind you, the effect of Turn Undead, she cannot approach us. If anything, she's gonna try to run the hell away.
And she looks very panicked, like she is kind of. I shouldn't, and she's backing up quickly, like towards the walls themselves.
Fletch holds up her hand and says, No, okay, you stay.
You were doing so good in the game.
Yeah.
Fletch, you always beats me all the time.
Can Fletch reach into her bag and hold the music box?
Yes, and make a persuasion check with, I'm going to say advantage because Bog's trying to help you with this. And you have the music box.
So I roll twice?
Yes, and take the higher of the two.
Okay. 12 and... I got 12 and 4.
Is that with your modifiers? Or,
yeah, with my modifiers.
She
guidance.
It's a little late for guidance. She already rolled.
I don't have it anyway.
Yeah. So she but she sees the music box, and she hesitates, and you see her eyes on the music box, and she kind of reaches for it. And as she reaches for it, her hand passes through it. She can't touch it, and you see her start to cry.
Uh-oh.
Fletch makes her sad sound and says, "No cry."
I just wanted to touch it. She keeps trying, and her hand just keeps passing through it.
Fletch has music box in one hand, and her other hand, as the girl moves to put her hand on top, she puts her hand over it and says, "No cry is okay. You talk. We help."
How long does the Turn Undead last?
I want to hear your best 13-year-old girl.
Hey, in a second.
All right, channel divinity, 30 feet of you, take reactions. Turn for 1 minute or until it takes damage.
Right. Okay.
So I just wanted to touch it and touch things again, and feel things again. And
Can you tell us what happened here?
I wasn't here for this. I came after horrible things, and my mother and my father and my brothers are all gone. I just but they're not. They're stuck. They're trapped, and I just want to help them. And I thought maybe you could help me.
Fletch says, she points to herself and says, missing family. Missing family want help. We help.
What can we do?
Yeah. She hits Duros and says, we help.
What can we do to help?
So you need to find my father. And
We're fine.
he's here. He's in the manor. All my family's in the manor. They can't leave. They're trapped here. But I need you to find him. And when you find him, did you get all that? Just making sure.
Yeah, that was really good.
When you find him, I need you to destroy him. That's the only way they'll be free.
Okay. He wouldn't happen to be turned into stone, would he?
No.
No. You wouldn't have happened to have anything to do with our friend being turned into stone, would you?
No, the house has defenses. Things that my father had placed because he was gone for so long, things that we could use to protect us or to defend against those who might want to hurt us. And your friend
is there a way to get past those?
There is, and I can help you with that. There's many of them have phrases that, when spoken, they'll stop. It was to protect us and the family. We could activate them if we needed to.
Okay.
I was just gonna say, can you come along with us? If you can kind of lead us along and help, keep these things from killing us, we can help you with this problem and your family being stuck. Yeah.
We'll help you. You help us.
And Fletch is waving around in the background and says, "Me, Fletch, we friend."
I can do that, but I have to ask a favor. Your friend, and Ian, by the way, is still kind of unconscious on the ground, asleep. Your friend was. It's very difficult for me to stay like this, but if I could borrow him, I could stay with you and I can help you. And I just want to touch things again. You don't know.
I don't think he'd mind.
I mean, Ian, hey, do you mind?
He snores. He's
Yeah, he seems cool with it.
Swinging a hammer by chance.
No, I'm not very. I'm not. I was more a student and an artist like my mother than I was a fighter. But
Well, he's not very good either. So just if you want to take a whack at something, old Bog here's got your back. Don't you worry about that, little one. Yeah.
Fletch says, "Yay, friends, read books."
So she smiles a bit and she goes down towards Ian, and you see her as Ian's still asleep, and as the effects of the turn undead, you see her just slowly kind of merge again. The apparition vanishes inside of Ian, and as Ian's eyes open, for the first time, you hadn't really noticed it before, but for the first time, you see kind of the same softness in her face reflected in his eyes as he wakes up, and I can touch again. Thank you. And starts to stand up off the ground. So should we move forward?
Fletch reaches out to take his hand and helps her get up and says, "Fletch, friend," and then touches her and says, "Name?"
So as you take her hand, you notice it's not like a man grab. It's that gentle, kind of delicate, like that side turned kind of touch. And she gets up in a very delicate way. My name is Jade.
All right. Well, let's go save your father.
And with that, we're going to end the session for this week. So. Well done, guys. Well done. That turn undead I was not quite expecting, but that was a good way to play that. I was kind of wondering when this was going to come about. So we are off next week for Mother's Day, because either some of us have mothers or are married to mothers or have mother as a significant other. Somewhere in that mix. So we're going to take off next week for Mother's Day. There's no Wandering Players. There's no Tales from the Wandering Players. We'll be back on the 16th with a gaming session. We'll pick up the story. We will be, Mikey will be rejoining us for that one, though he might be kind of stuck for a little while. We'll see how that plays out. But until then, please follow the stream, share it if you can, video on demand, and then Tuesday the YouTube channel will get the latest update. So until then, thank you. Enjoy the rest of your weekend and your coming week. Happy Mother's Day in advance, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.
Oh.